25th, 26th. It's Friday. I'm about an hour and a half after when I thought I would be out here. But we're going to try and do this quickly. So June is coming up, and I'm going to be traveling a little bit. And as I showed last time, I was in here, I think, Sunday evening. So I split this hive a week ago Sunday, so almost 2 weeks ago. Moved the queen over there. On Sunday, I think it was Sunday night, I came in here late at night, about 7 o'clock, and looked, and there was a bunch of queen cells, like close to 15 queen cells. And the more I've been thinking about it, there's so many queen cells, and this hive had so much brood. I think I'm going to split it again. So there's 4 boxes here. I'm going to take, there's queen cells in this box, and there's queen cells in this box. So I'm going to take this large box, assuming there's still queen cells. I'm going to move it over there. I have the bottom board set up, and then I'm going to put a empty, maybe move one of these over with it to give some supplies. But what I'll probably do is I have an older honey super on here, over here, and I'll put it on top, and I'll feed these bees sugar water. And I'll do the same with this one. So then this box has queen cells. I'll move it down, and then I'll just let this kind of be self-contained. The worst case, so then the queens should emerge sometime, I think, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, somewhere in there. Tuesday at the absolute latest. So I'll come out and check, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Kids are making noise over here. Verify that the queens have emerged. And then before I travel, hopefully the queen will have had time to go mate and come back. And maybe I'll have just a brief confirmation that there's a laying queen. If not, while I'm gone, the hives could be faltering, and I won't know until I get back. So worst case, one of them works, and then I'll just recombine the hives. I'll be back to 3 hives. But my goal is to get to 4. And there's so many queens, I just thought, why not give it a try? That's one thing about bees. You can kind of experiment as long as they seem pretty healthy. And so that's the goal. So I'm going to do this hive first. I know there's not a queen in here yet. There should be queen cells. Assuming this all works, I'm basically going to slowly set some supers over here with queen cells, take one over there, and we'll get at it. And then I'm just going to go through the other 2 hives. I brought some boxes down here to expand one of the hives. That the queen that was laying all the eggs in this hive is over there, and I know she doesn't have enough space, and there's a chance they might be trying to swarm. And so I just want to get space on there before I leave so that she doesn't swarm. And that's the goal. So it probably, I love to talk. So probably, again, I do all this for me because I can just go back and watch and see what I have done each time I'm out here. And it's much better than documenting by hand, which is really hard to do when you have waxy hands. These bees have been so docile. I've actually been out here, and there's no guarantee. They can get picked off anytime. But I've been out here some days. I'll just lift the lid up and check things out, and they have not been swarming at me or anything. So it's just been pretty cool. So what we're going to do really quickly is just check and see where the queen cells were, see if they're doing anything with honey. I put a bunch of wax on new foundation, or old foundation. I've put new wax on it. Oh man, heavy. They are filling this with nectar. Oh, it's so beautiful. That is amazing. All right, so that one's heavy. They haven't pulled any comb out on this one frame though. I was kind of hoping. Man, I got some good smoke going, but it is blowing back the wrong direction. Yeah, just everywhere I go, they're filling this up with honey, with nectar, which will turn into honey. This frame has nothing. They haven't built any foundation out on it yet. So when you put this is called foundation, right? It's mostly plastic nowadays, and you can't probably see, but I'd actually put wax on this, and they tend to not draw. We call it drawing out the comb, creating the honeycomb that you're used to seeing. They won't really do that unless they're really forced to. They don't have space, and even then, it's seasonal. But yeah, this hive is bringing in a lot of nectar. So there's a lot of frames with nectar on it. So there's a good chance of getting some honey out of this. Maybe not before I leave, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's all good. See if anything's capped. It'd be cool to show you some capped honey that they've already. So yeah, all of these, you can't tell, but all of these things I'm pulling out have weight to them. 2 to 3 pounds a frame. A completely full 8-frame super might be 30 pounds. Oh, this one's really heavy. So this must be close to being, yeah, they're about to cap this. They're evaporating the water. They're making honey out of this nectar. This is significantly heavier than the other frames I've pulled out so far. And finally this. Again, I can go quickly because I know there's not a queen in here yet. She would not have emerged yet. So I'm not being terribly careful. So what we want to do is have this frame, we want them to build wax out on it. They haven't done that yet. I'm going to leave that frame in here. Well, you know what? I'll pull that one out. I have a couple of these frames from an old hive. And, you know, they're just kind of, they're beaten up a little bit, but they have honeycomb on them, or comb, I should say. There's honey. And so they'll start to repair that. They'll clean that frame up and they'll start to add nectar into that frame. So when hive is producing honey this well, you know, or working towards honey, I want to encourage as much as possible. All right, so I can quickly pull this one off. See if that would go behind me a little bit. And again, these bees have been just so generally pretty docile. So this, tons of bees here. So let me show you how many bees are here, because I know there's brood on here and there's lots of queen cells. And so to see how many bees are swarming around all these frames. All these frames have brood. So these are the bees I want to stay with that brood. Those are nursing bees, and we need them to keep everything going well. So just give them a little shot of smoke to make them go down inside. They're not like, I'm not going to do anything to me. I just want as many to stay in here as possible. So what I normally do is I pull out a frame from the end. This should mostly be honey. And again, there's a lot of weight on here. So filling this with nectar, they're turning it into honey. Yeah, this is really heavy. So in about a week or two, this will all be capped, and we could harvest this if we wanted. So I can put this to the side because there's no brood on there and it's not going to get harmed. I have my hangers here for things that have brood. And I've said this before, these are 3D printed and I need to redo them. They are starting to get stretched out. So I expect this one to be, yep, very heavy, full of nectar, full of honey. That's great. They aren't capping anything yet. Ooh, they might be capping. So they have built out some stuff on here. Are they capping it yet? Well, they're starting to. So let me show you what happens. So you can see once they're done, they just cover the entry with just a little bit of wax. We call that capping the honey. And once the honey's all capped, it means they've evaporated it to a consistency that's good honey, and then we can harvest it. We just take the frame out, cut the top off of that honey, off those cells, and we extract it by spinning it. All right, so I'm going to be really careful. This has queen cells on it, I can see. They have not emerged yet. And I showed you this frame last time, but I'm going to try and be really gentle and do the same thing this time. Let me show you what they've done. They have gone bonkers on this. So these are all capped now, so completely capped. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one's really big. You can see it. Looks like my pinky. 6. I'm not going to drop this frame this time. On this side, there's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11 queen cells on here. 1 or 2 of them are smushed. So the queen is not going to, they're not going to emerge. But one of those queen cells, if I'm really gentle, should emerge. So I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to take this box and let it here. And then this box that has some queen cells, I'm going to take over there. So we just want to see how much more brood is in this chamber. And, a lot of it, oh, man. Oh, they're filling this up. So this is now, the whole top half of this is capped. Yeah, so this hive, we will get honey out of this hive for sure. They have gotten so much, and it's probably, as I said before, it's probably was those honeysuckle bushes back there. Now my locust trees are not blooming as well this year, but they are. So the locust trees only bloom every couple of years. Oh, so there's 2 more. There's 1 more queen cell on here, which it is capped. So that is a queen cell right there. it is capped, but it looks slightly damaged, so I can't tell what's going on. And again, what's going to happen is one of these queens is going to emerge before the others, and she's going to start going around and killing all the others. If two of them emerge, like separately, kind of before that happens, they'll fight it out. Generally, it's really rare, but there are some really rare instances where a hive can have two queens, at least for some period of time. But it's really, really rare. I mean, a hive generally has one queen. So otherwise, this is all honey. All these frames are really filling up. They're actually really heavy. So this whole box is almost honey. A good portion of that box is going to be honey. We're getting a lot of honey off this hive. So I'm going to leave this box here. This plastic frame has all of those queen cells on it. I'm going to just really gently, because I don't want to hurt anything, so I'm going to really gently, I'm going to push these aside so there's as much space as possible. I'm going to really gently put this back down in because I don't want to hurt those queen cells. I don't think you can hear through my earpiece, but they're getting pretty buzzy in here. They're, I don't know. I never know exactly what they're thinking, but it's kind of fun. Okay, so I've got to be gentle with this one, and I think that what I can do is really gently take this off because some of the queen cells are hanging off the bottom of those frames. I don't want to smash it down anywhere. So I'm going to really gently lift it over here, trying to really gently set it down so I don't crush any of those queen cells and hurt the queens. So this box, I think, also has some queen cells. And if it does, the base is going to take this box over there. Bees and all, kind of like a walk-away split is what we call it. Typically, I would take it further away, but I don't have that luxury right now. The other thing we're going to do is I had some bare frames in here, and they are not doing much with these frames still. So I brought a bunch more frames down that have a lot more wax on them, and wax usually encourages them to build out the honeycomb. So like this frame, they've done nothing with in almost 2 weeks. So I'm going to put one of those other frames in here and hope that they build out some honeycomb. This is all nectar and honey. There's a lot of pollen on this. This is a deep frame. It's 9 inches wide, long, really heavy. Lots and lots of nectar. All right, so here's brood, and I can already see one queen cell at least. All right, so on this frame, I have one emergency queen cell up here. Lots of brood still. And one emergency queen cell down here, but it looks like it never went anywhere. So there's no way that queen has emerged already. Now, yeah, so what will happen is if something doesn't work with the queen cell, they will just tear them apart. They'll kind of tear them down. Maybe they realize they don't need that many. But math-wise, there's just no way that the queen cells, and there's so many other queen cells. So I feel confident there's no queen in here yet. I think they're just tearing those cells apart, but lots of brood. So this as a walk-away split should be pretty successful. All right, same deal. So here's the second empty frame, and they've done nothing to it. They haven't put out any comb in a week and a half, which is really annoying. I really want them to pull out comb. All right, so I expect to see some more queen cells on here. Let's see if that's the case. A lot of drone. Yep, there's, I think, one more queen cell, two more. All right, so we have lots of queen cells that they have made. So there's a lot of opportunity. I feel really confident that they have plenty. There's a lot of brood on here. So mostly if I just take this box and go, they should be pretty okay. And there's tons of supplies. They have so much honey and nectar and pollen that they should be totally good. So we're going to give it a go. Again, why I'm not super worked up about this is honestly, worst case, I'll just recombine these hives in a month. As long as one of the queens survives, I feel pretty good about it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to, actually what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to put these frames back in just so I can take the bees that are on them. And then I want to be gentle with those queen cells on there. And then I'll replace these frames separately once they're over there so I can knock these bees into the hive and keep them there. All right, so here we go. Now, I'll show you afterwards. I'm just going to take these, and there's so many bees down below. I feel pretty good about this. I might knock some extra bees in here, but I'm just going to take these bees over here. I know you can't see what's going on. I'm going to set them down. It is next to another hive, but that's okay. I'm going to put the entrance reducer in here right away so that they are kind of forced to figure out what's going on. I'm going to set something on top of here just to kind of keep them in there. And then I will, I just want to quickly see what's in here. I don't think there's any more brood, but there might be. If there's some brood, I might take one more frame. Oh, there's definitely brood. So I'll take one more frame of this brood over there, and then I'll shake in, I'll get those other, okay, it's not a lot of brood. This is actually just supplies mostly. Yeah, this is all, there's just some drone brood on there. They'll hang off like in a chain. It's pretty cool, actually. All right. Yeah, so I even have these frames that had some wax, and they are just being lazy. They are not building much by way of new. So I'm just gonna, oh, another queen cell down here. So they have so many queen cells. So maybe I'll take this frame over there because it's got one additional queen cell and it's got some brood, two additional queen cells. So I just want every opportunity for them to have, oh yeah, some really nice queen cells on here. All right, so we're just gonna take this one over. Sorry, I can't move the camera. And we're gonna take one of these frames out that has nothing. And we're gonna gently put this down in there, real gentle. Don't hurt anything. Shake the bees off of that frame. Right, and within, so again, remember what will happen is whatever I shake off, any foragers that are in here, they will go back to this old hive tomorrow when they go forage. So, all right, yeah, there's just, I mean, there's so much brood in here. I feel really confident that they have every opportunity to be successful. Lots of, so the hard part about splitting is then it becomes difficult to figure out, got to find the new queen. And new queens are always smaller until they mate. Then even then, they're kind of difficult to find. So it becomes a challenge. So I have a couple of these frames that they're just not doing much with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake the bees off of that. They'll get a little bit annoyed with me. And I'm going to put one of these frames in. So I basically just had old wax. I melted it and I just rolled it onto here with a little roller. So my hope is that they'll start to build out some new comb on that. That's the hope. It looks like I need to put two in here. So I'm going to space them in between two others. All right, that one looks pretty good. So I'll take one more, put it down in here, and hope that they will use that. All right, so there, I've done my walkaway split. And again, it's kind of a walkaway split because technically you would try and get it further away. I know a lot of bees are going to come back here. So now what I'm going to do is keep this one on top. There's lots of honey, right? And there's a lot of bees here. And so basically you come from the back, just really gently try and slide this forward. And there we go. I will probably put one of those feeding boards on here and put sugar water. But for the moment, I'm not going to do that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to take this extra honey super. I'm going to put it on top of this one over here. I think that's the best option. That gives that hive, they'll fill that with honey a little bit faster maybe. Close that, button that up. And then this one I can, ooh, these bees are wondering what's going on. All right. So I went from 3 hives to 4. We will look early next week. Both these hives should have queens that are emerged, and we'll go from there, see what we can figure out. All right. So with that, for now at least, there's so many bees here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this box, which I think is generally okay. I've had some issues with wax moth, and so let me just show you what's going on here. I have this box, and it's a bunch of empty frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 on here. And I don't want to introduce wax moth. And it was just, I think because of the weather. So here's again, 2 empty frames. Yeah, so this looks pretty clean. So I'm going to put this in. They'll clean this up. And this hive is so good at producing some honey. We'll give them the chance to make some honey. Here's what I'm going to do, though, because to make my life a little bit easier. So this is a homemade box. My dad actually made this for me. So it's just a little bit bigger than interior than most boxes. Something's a little bit off there. All right, I'm going to put a queen excluder on here. I have one over here for now. Since I'm adding a 3rd box, that just saves me from having to look through this box when I come out next week to look for honey. So I'm going to throw this on there. And then I put this box on and let them go to town. All right. Great. So let me pull this camera around and show you what we just did on the other side of this whole thing. Close this back up. Close this back up. And then put some weight on it to prevent the wind from carrying it. All right. So here's what I just did. This box over here is where I just moved everything. So we have queen cells in both of these. We have a bunch of queen cells down here, honey up here. I put the excluder, the entrance reducer on it. This back just a little bit, keep it from wobbling. And we'll see what happens. So the foragers are going to go out. There's a bunch of brood in there. Some of the foragers will go back there, but there's a lot of nursing bees, which will become foragers soon. So, all right, last 2 things then. This is going really well from my perspective. Guess we'll see in a few more days what really happens. All right, so now what I want to do is, and I'm going to bring my queen clip over here. I just want to check this one. This is the queen that I've been checking on. She's the one that almost died, and she survived by providing more and more bees. I want to see what they're doing with honey, if anything, just kind of how things are going, how her brood is in here. I don't think they need more space, but I have an extra box down here just in case. All right, and the thing with this one is I separated this knowing that there was some brood here, and a lot of that brood was actually drone bees. And so the drones can't get down through the excluder I have on here. So often when that happens, there's just a bunch of drones, and they're like, let me out. Yeah, and they're capping honey. I mean, they're doing some stuff with this. Not a lot, but so here's a drone that has a malformed wing. It's almost like something happened to it. I don't really know what's going on there. I've rarely seen that. That could be a mite issue, but all the other bees look fine. There's a drone bee that looks totally fine. So mites like drone larvae. They tend to go into the drones. And so that could just be maybe something happened. We got a treat for mites. I'll have to think that through once I get some honey out. Yeah, so there's emerging, all this stuff here is emerging, lots of drone bees. Let me pull this over here. You can just see the difference in size, how dramatic. And so a lot of people confuse drones for queen bees. So there's a drone and there's the 2 drones and the regular bees next to them. That's how much bigger. There's a drone bee. That's how much bigger they are. And so I was actually just talking to a friend who's a new beekeeper, and he got a brand new, just his very first hive, and he thought he had a bunch of queens. And as he had called one of the folks that sold him the bees, and the guy said, "Well, you probably just are seeing drones, and you've never seen a drone because this is your first time beekeeping." Yeah, so lots of drone bees. They can't get through the excluder, so they really have nowhere to go until I take that excluder out. And the reason I took the excluder out is so we could free up some frames for honey. They they collect honey higher up in the hive. But that's, yeah, so still lots of bees emerging. All right. So I feel good about this. There's a lot of drone bees though, so I do got to figure out how to get these drone bees out. See what's going on. A little bit. They're putting some nectar up here. Oh, interesting. They have created a queen cell. That looks like it's not going to work. So you know what? I'm going to look real quick and see. That's really odd. I would not expect that. All right, let me just see what else is going on up here. I don't really know what that's about. So that's what we're checking. We want to make sure they're not creating queen cells down below, because they are. Yep, lots of honey. So here's what capped honey looks like. Like they're capping all this honey. So it's all, it can look dark like this, or it can look white. Doesn't really mean anything one way or the other. All right, so yeah, that's really interesting. That was right here. So let me show you this. This is like a queen cell right there. I don't really know why. I don't know why they've done that. I'm a little confused. So I recognize that's on here. I'm going to leave it in here. When I take this off and put it back, I'll decide what to do once I see what's down in the hive. If for some reason this hive is building more queen cells, then we'll have to talk. Don't know what to do. So sometimes what you can do, because I don't want to go to 4 hives or 5 hives right now. Sometimes what you can do is just take the queen cells off and hope that if I give them another box worth of frames, maybe they'll do something with it. But let's see what happens. All right, so I'm going to take this off. Throw this down here. Guessing there's a bunch of drone bees here that are happy and free are happy to be free. They're flying around right now. So I know there's a queen in here. We want to be, so one reason they could decide they're going to create another queen is maybe, since this is a queen that died, maybe she, even though it looks like she's been doing pretty well, maybe she's not doing as well as they would like, and they're going to create a new queen in her place. And that's what we're about to find out. See what's going on. Lots of honey in here. So they're not using this for, oh my goodness, this whole frame is almost all nectar. So they're not using it for brood. That is concerning. Yep, no brood. So there's a small chance that this hive, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of bees in here. I'm going to assume it's not the case, but there's a small chance that this hive decided to swarm, which would be really unfortunate. I don't know why they would have created that queen cell. That's so weird. But I'm not seeing any brood in here at all. Like they're just using this for nectar. So interesting. And again, I put some frames in here for them to build out on, and they've done pretty much nothing with it at all, which to them, this is useless. This feels like a frame, a hive that doesn't have enough space. So that is a problem. All right, no brood whatsoever in this middle box, which is not good. This has a little bit of honeycomb on it. I think old honeycomb, but it does look like they're trying to expand it some. All right, so lots of nectar on these frames. We're going to let that be. Let's keep going, see what we can find down here. This isn't what I wanted fun to see. It was all going so well. So if that's the case, what I will probably do is take one of the frames out of here that has queen cells and put it back in here, because I don't, unless we see a bunch of queen cells down here. There's a chance the queen could have died and they didn't have enough time. There is some brood down here. So, all right, we're going to be careful. I assume the queen is going to be down here, and so we're just going to be real gentle about what we do. All right, very light frame. They're not doing much with this. They should at least be packing this with pollen, and they're not doing that. That's weird. There's a little bit of nectar. All right, well, I thought this queen had come back to life and was doing a really good job. She did lay a bunch of brood for me, but now I'm not seeing much brood at all. And let's see if we see her anywhere. Nope. Maybe let this one out too then, because she's not on there. All right, there's some brood here. Let's see what we can find. Real gentle. So it's pretty heavy. Oh, there's lots of brood on here. So she has been here recently, at least. But I would love to see some fresh eggs, which I'm not seeing. And that, oh, and there's another queen cell. Something's happened to this queen, and they're doing their job. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Suddenly I'm down to, it could have been that they swarmed, but this feels like a fair amount of bees in here. Oh, there's another huge queen cell down here. So she's either in here and they're about to swarm, or something happened to her. Lots of brood though, so this is very full of brood. Again, these are notes for myself for later. I want to be real gentle here looking through, because that is a really enormous queen cell. Let's make sure she's not on here somewhere. All right, this is not what I was hoping to see, but the fact that there's no eggs and no brood in that top chamber, I think she's gone. I think she already swarmed and I missed it. Last time I was in here, I didn't see a queen cell, but admittedly, I didn't go in here a week and a half ago when I split that other hive, because I just didn't want to bug her. She was doing okay. If she is in here, then I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And she is in here. Son of a gun. All right, so either there she is, son of a gun. All right, what do I do here? I don't want to go to 5 hives, but I don't want to lose bees. So we're going to try and catch her so I can think this through for a minute. I have a couple of ideas. Of course, got to find her. She just was right here. Where'd she go? You didn't go away that quickly. I know you're here. There she is. She's in the shadows, so it's hard for me to see. So really interesting. So I don't know what to do here. I can't really take the chance that she is going to. I think that something is up with her, but I don't know that to be true. Okay, caught her. She is in there. I'll just lay her on top of that for now. They'll be happy with her there. This is not what I was hoping for. Okay. The stream has just gotten longer while I figure out what's happening. So let's see, couple of options. I just need to see if I just am not seeing lots of eggs. So I'm concerned that she's not laying anymore. Something has happened. There's all this empty brood. I just don't see any eggs in there. So man, I hate to do this, but I'm tempted to just take her away and see what happens. Because if she's not laying eggs, I don't want her to swarm and take these bees with her. I would rather, I'm looking in the bottom of all these cells. There's a few new larvae in here. So she has recently, oh, this whole thing is filled up with new stuff now. Okay, now I can see that. So she's ready to swarm. What do you do with that? So I think she's reduced her laying in preparation for swarming. So here's what I could do. I could, yeah, this has a lot of brood on it. Oh, another queen cell with a queen that's almost formed. All right, they're trying to swarm. So do a couple of things here. I don't want to take the chance of killing all these queen cells. I don't want her to swarm. So I am going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I probably have another day or two. That's about it to decide. So that one queen cell is not fully formed. So I am going to, here's my thought. Sorry, I'm talking to myself internally. My thought is I would take her and just put her in one of these other hives. I don't honestly have enough clean supplies. I had this problem with wax moth, and I haven't had an opportunity to clean stuff up. I really don't have supplies to create another hive. I just don't want to. I don't think it would be strong. And so I am going to, this is really hard. I'm going to give it another day. I won't have an opportunity till at least Sunday. I think they are further behind than these other two hives, so I think I have a couple of days. I'm going to take that chance. Worst case, I get a new hive out of it. She goes somewhere with bees, which I don't like, especially after keeping her alive. But I don't really have supply. Oh, you know what I do have? Maybe that's what I could do while I think about this. You can see my wheels turning, right? I will come back later because I have stuff I need to get done tonight. I'm going to take her and I'm going to put her in a smaller nuke box that I have. I don't have a big one. And that will allow me to keep her for maybe, a couple of days while I think this through. And that might be enough for me to make sure that I have bees from another nuke. One of these other bees, these queen bees, came, hatched and we're all good to go. That is the only thing I feel like I can do right now. I think otherwise I'm gonna do more damage than good because my thought was I could put her in one of these other hives and then she would just kill those other queen cells and keep going in there. I'm just not convinced that's gonna work. And so, yeah, let's just see what happens. I'm gonna open this up and there she is. There she goes down. Come on, go on. And she's getting lighter. She could fly if she was preparing to swarm. She's on top here. I wish I could show you, sorry, but she's now going down in. All right, I'm going to let that be. No pun intended. I'm going to put this back on. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a couple of these pulled out frames, if I have any. No, these are all brand. Here's one. Okay, these are all new frames. So if they have more wax on them, so let's see if I can get them to pull out some frames. All right. I don't think that's going to help, but let's see. If she didn't want to swarm, she would kill those queen cells, but she somehow has communicated that she wants to swarm. So that's sad. I'm going to not put that queen excluder on. I'm just going to put this box back on top. That way all the drones can get out. Take my chances at her laying up here. Maybe that will help dissuade her from swarming. And so what I might do is keep her in that nuke box for a week or so and either supply it for me or I'll offer it to the bee community if someone wants her, as long as I get a new queen out of this hive. All right, that was unexpected. Boo-hoo. Let's head over to the last hive. Yeah, this is taking longer than I wanted now. So all right, last hive. I just want to check this one. My plan is to put a new box on this. This was the original queen. My guess is she is 100% ready to swarm because this was not enough space for her. I know that. This has this feeding thing on top, and I'm going to put these frames in here. Just hope they go to town. It's not the best solution, but it's what I have. So we're just going to put this on top. Take these off. Some bees there. If there are not queen cells in here, I'll be stunned. But let's see what happens. All right, smoker. Did I bring smoker over? No, smoker's right here. My tools are here. It's always something new with these bees. It can be really challenging to pull stuff out. See if I can get some smoke going out of this. She may have already even swarmed. There does not seem like there's many bees in here, to be honest with you. I would not be shocked if this hive, I know she hasn't had enough space because she lays so much. So there's lots of brood on, even these small frames. There's just, all right, there's eggs in here. So she's still here, at least as of the last day. It's brand new eggs there. I don't see eggs on both sides. She's just laying like the queen she is. All right. So as long as I don't see queen cells, and man, I would love not to see queen cells in here. That's the hardest part about being a beekeeper in the spring is naturally hives mostly want to split because again, I think I told you that's the point. Like they want to grow in size, and that's how they do it. They split. I just got to be gentle because she could be anywhere on here. Yeah, I mean she's just filling this frame up, so she needs more space. Here's my hope. None of these frames have comb on it, but because they want more space, I'm hopeful that they will build out comb pretty quickly. That's my hope. I can't force it, and I can't make it, but they can. All right, so first thing I'm doing is looking for queen cells. I don't see any. There's a lot of honey on here. Yeah, so this is mostly nectar. I don't see the queen. But per typical, she's laying lots of eggs. And so that's why I love this queen. I love, that I would like to get lots of, anything she produces, any queens that she produces usually have similar tendencies and temperaments. So they're very docile bees, as it were. All right. Go over 2 more here. Again, I'm trying to move quickly because it's just taking a lot longer than I expected today. I'm really still annoyed at the other hive. I just didn't think, especially because she was, almost dead. I didn't think that she would be ready to swarm. All right. Yeah, so not a ton. So if I go down and there's no queen cell, we're good to go. I'm going to add these boxes on, and I'm just going to really hope. Yeah, this is all supplies, so this is not eggs. All right, let me just put the stuff back in. These are the eggs. I'm okay with that. It's just more brood. So we're going to go down. If I don't see queen cells, good to go. We're going to just add a box on here and hope that they start to build out some honeycomb for us, some comb on the frames. All right. There we go. Not a lot of bees, though, so this is weird. I don't have another word for it at the moment. I mean, I guess they did split this hive, right? So there's only, bees are going to die over time and new bees are being born. So maybe we're all good, but there's not a ton of bees in here. So I'm just I mean, there's eggs. She's been here recently. Something tells you that maybe I wouldn't be surprised if they just swarmed. No supplies in there. Oh, the life of a beekeeper. Yeah. So it's hard to describe. There's just not as many bees on here as I would expect to see based on how much brood I put in here. So I would be surprised if I don't find either a queen cell or I let this one alone for too long and they already made a queen and she swarmed. But let's see. Don't want to get too down on myself or down on the queens. There's no queen cell on this side. Looking for the queen. Looking for the queen. I don't quickly see her there. Gently turn this over. No queen cell. Lots of drones. I don't see the queen here either. All right, so there's a lot of brood on here, but it's capped older brood. On this frame, I don't see inside any new eggs. Me could be that, okay, so here we go. Maybe a queen cell right now. I think that's drone. Oh, is a bee crawling up my leg? This happens all the time when I don't wear proper. Yep, a bee is crawling up my leg. It's the last thing I want right now. Good times. All right, come on. Yep, just got stung. All right, so good times, good times. Looking for the queen. So I keep saying this, like I just sometimes stupidly walk out and I don't put the. Okay, so there's some new brood on here. So there's been a queen here recently. So I guess she's in here, maybe because they didn't have enough space. So they're really regulative. You know, she will regulate how much she lays, and maybe she's just like, you know what, I'm gonna chill for a little bit. There's too many bees and not enough space. So by adding space, hopefully we will uh, get things out. Come on, bee, don't. We're friends. We're friends. I see no evidence of a queen cell that's been dismantled or anything. So that tells me that she's got to be around. She's recently laid some eggs. I'm really surprised I haven't seen her yet. She's just not laying as many eggs as she had previously. And the sun is starting to play with me here, so I got to really pay attention to what's going on with the sun. Mostly so I can see. It's like my light source right now. Bees are crawling over my hands here. All right. Yeah, I don't see the queen here either. Oh, this is also interesting. Also interesting. Note to self, remember to wear proper shoes that block bees from crawling up my leg. Lots of brood here. She on here. Come on, lady. Where are you? Come on, you've got to be over here somewhere. I'm not normally this silent, am I? But I'm really concentrating to see what is going on and hope that I can see this queen. And I'm just not seeing her anywhere. Last frame, are you on here? So it doesn't mean that she's not in here. I've seen eggs, so she has been here. But I would say in general, for as much as she was laying, there are not as many. I can't tell if there's any eggs down there. I would say there's not as many bees in here as I would expect. So my belief is that maybe she has already swarmed, but I don't see any queen cells. So I'm at a loss. At a loss on this one. So what do I do here? I think I'm going to have to come back out and check this one in a couple of days, I'm just going to quickly go back through these again, see if I see her anywhere. Sometimes she can be elusive. Again, I know there were eggs up top. But if I don't see her, then maybe that's the answer to my problem with the other queen. Is I just put a queen cell in here. Maybe I take some of those queen cells, or I take the queen and put her over here. I mean, I'd really want to be sure that I don't have a queen here. These frames have just hundreds of bees on them, but normally the queen is pretty easy to spot. They kind of give her a little bit of a berth to walk around. I'm just not seeing her anywhere. But I do see brood on here. It's fairly fresh. So this has gotten to be a long stream. Sorry about that. Again, mostly for me. I know it's not very exciting to just sit in the back and not be able to see what I'm seeing. But such is life when I'm trying to figure out what to do here. Scanning all over the place, lots of drones, so it's really easy to think that it's the queen and then it's not. Huh. Conundrum. I'll tell you what. Yeah, if I can't find a queen, they're not building a queen either, so that is so interesting. The fact that I don't see any queen cells tells me there's still got to be a queen in here. Somebody has laid a bunch of brood recently, last maybe 5-6 days at least. She's just doing a really good job at hiding. Maybe that's all that's going on. All right, I'll probably walk over here soon. Just push the stop button on that. There's no reason. I guess the only reason to keep going is so that I can remind myself what actually happened here at the end, which is, yeah, no, man, I don't see a queen, but I see hints of eggs being laid. It's not drones. It's not like a drone laying situation. Maybe she's just being really elusive today. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this one back together. I have not seen the queen anywhere. It's really annoying. I'm going to yeah, this is like the epitome of frustration for a beekeeper. Like, man, I just would like to see her to know what's going on. The fact that I don't, and compared to the number of bees I thought would be in here, they're not. That's interesting as well. So here's what I'm going to do. For the time being, I'm going to, I'm not going to put that box on. Or I am going to put the box on. I'm going to put this box on. Worst case, I'll take it off in a day. But it's here. I'm going to put it on just in case. I will do something. Maybe I'll catch that queen and put her in here. And the way that we'll do that is, I'll think that one through too. All right, so I'm going to very quickly, what am I going to do with this? I'm going to move this up here so the bees can't get out. So in case the queen's in here, she's not going to escape. And I'm just going to quickly look back through here again, see if the queen is here and I just missed her. If I have an extra box, that's a deep box, so I don't have the box I want. That's okay. Be careful, pull this out. I mean, there's a chance she was up here and I just missed it. So there were eggs up here. I'll just set that over there for now. And these others I can just kind of play with. Maybe I moved too quickly. Maybe she was up here because there's definitely eggs here. So this frame definitely has lots of eggs. Maybe I was just being impatient and wasn't paying attention. They seem to be following something, but it is not a queen. I'm going to grab these things, put them here so I can just separate. I just want to separate a bunch of them out so I can see what's what once I've inspected. Again, I see eggs up here. Another bee has crawled up my leg. I am really not doing good here. I'm just trying to be gentle. I tell it's there. I'm going to... The problem is they end up on the ground and they walk. They're just doing what they do. They're just crawling on my pant leg. See if I can get one to drop out. Oh, it dropped out. Yeah. And maybe she was on one of these honey frames. I just assumed she wasn't. That was just dumb of me. All right. Wow, this got really long. It's a little bit frustrating for an ending for me. And I don't know what I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to watch this. Here's what we're going to do. I have some time, maybe on Memorial Day, I will, or Tuesday. I think I have some time with that hive over there. I have an extra queen. Yeah, something's happened. Maybe they swarm somehow, or she just quickly died. Man, I don't know. I'm confused. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just confused. I see some recent eggs, so there was a queen here, but she's not here now. All right, here's what it is. Take these off. Put these in here. Take this over here and give things a think. Nothing else I can really do today. So I was not expecting either of these things. So this was a great queen. She was laying really well just a matter of 2 or 3 weeks ago. My biggest problem is I didn't give her enough space, so I wouldn't be surprised if she swarmed. But I also would expect to see evidence of queen cell or something, and I don't. So I am just kind of confused at the moment. But it's my fault for not working more quickly to get out here. Sometimes it's just a time issue. I just didn't honestly have time. So what we're going to do is close this up for now and reevaluate. Oh, hey, bees. Lots of bees right here. Well, exciting times. One little sting tonight. some supplies I can take back in water. I might bring sugar water out for these two that I split. Yeah, this is a fun part of being a beekeeper. See what happens. I wanted to get to 4. Who knows where it goes from here? Good times.